Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Metal Roots. Tonight, or I should say today, my time. I think it's probably nighttime, your time, Joe. But I'm joined by Joe Nunez from bands such as Firewind and Lords of Black, and a host of others that we'll get to. But those are probably the main two that most people are going to know. And he just got home literally yesterday, right, from tour with Firewind.
That's correct.
So he graciously agreed to do this while tired and not feeling the best. But thanks for being here, Joe.
No worries. Thanks for having me, Wade.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of jump in. Tell me just a little bit about growing up. What was your early childhood like? That sort of thing. Where'd you grow up?
I was born and I grew up in Belgium. So I first got introduced to music when I was like 6. My parents put me in a piano lessons in music lessons. So I started by that. Basically, my brother is a musician also. He's a guitarist. And I basically started playing drums when I was like 13. Like he just asked me to play like a random beat for one of his projects. And yeah, I've been hooked ever since and never stopped.
Yeah, when I was doing a little research before I talked to you here, I didn't realize your brother was in a band, so I looked into him a little bit and saw that you guys have kind of played together a little bit in the band Suicide of Demons.
That's correct.
And does he still have that going?
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been on. Yeah, we stopped that in 2014, I think, or 15.
Oh, okay,
maybe.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I guess what drew you to the drums in particular?
To the drums, I don't know. I wasn't drawn to drums before. Like really, I wasn't drawn to music. Actually, I was about to quit because my parents forced me when I was a kid, and that doesn't usually work out for kids. So I was about to stop music, and then it was pure coincidence. Like I said, my brother needed me to play like just a basic beat, and he played drums before, so he taught me how to do it. It's like just play this, and I'll play on top of it, and so for one of his projects. And yeah, ever since I was like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. So I might keep doing that for a little bit. And yeah,
now, was there a certain band or somebody that was sort of drew you into music? Because you said you were thinking about kind of giving up on it because you were forced to do it. But was there the moment where you heard someone or heard something and went, "Ooh, this music thing is kind of cool. Maybe I should pursue that." Yeah,
there was back then. My big influence was Mike Tirana.
Okay,
like we had, he's a very visual drummer. So of course, when you're 13, 14, it's like, wow, this is like really impressive. The big muscle guy playing like super visual, like big moves and big drum kit and all that. So yeah, it was like, fuck, that's what I want to do. I want to be him. So basically that was the main guy back then. Then of course some others. Like I remember Travis Barker also. Yeah, from Blink-182. Who else? Thomas Lang, I would say.
Okay.
But that came a bit later also because I started getting into the more technical side of drumming, not purely metal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I saw him in drum magazines and stuff like that, and so came across a few videos and I was like, wow.
So what were some of the earlier bands that you got into? You mentioned some influences like individual artists, but were there certain bands that were your favorites?
Yeah, I got into power metal really quickly. Never looked back also, it seems. It's still one of my favorite kind of music. But bands like back then it was like I don't know, I'd say like Halloween, Gamma Ray, a lot of Gamma Ray. It still probably is one of my favorite bands. I actually just saw them live like a week ago or something. Yeah, in Greece. Yeah, by big chance. We had a day off in Thessaloniki and they were playing, so I just went there.
Very cool.
Yeah, bands like Megadeth, big influence also on me. Of course, Metallica, Maiden, bands like that. So yeah, usually bands that have good melody. I was never into the harsh vocals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, good singers and good melodies. For me, that was always very attractive to me.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with power metal because I'm the same. It's like even with the 80s metal, I feel like when it first started, 1979, 80, 81, all those bands were coming out, but yet they all had good singers. I mean, that you think about your Rob Halfords and your Bruce Dickinsons and your, Eric from Man of War and just all these killer vocalists that were coming out. So me, there's always had to have that hook and that melody as well. But yet I love a really heavy guitar behind the hook and the melody.
Yeah, and heavy drums as well.
Oh, exactly. I mean, to me, that's like, kind of primal fear. And like you guys, Firewind, you guys embody that kind of thing with like a crushing riff, but yet, pounding drums, but a catchy vocal that gets stuck in your head,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And power
I
metal
might
kind
be
of
missing a
threads
few
that
because
very well.
I might be missing a few bands, but as we get along, I'll remember. But yeah, like I said, I'm a bit sick, so I'm a bit slow today.
That's all right. That's all right. So, do you remember the first album you bought with your own money? Remember walking down to a record store and buying an album?
First album. Wow, I didn't see that one coming.
And if you can't remember, that's okay.
First album.
Well, the first one maybe somebody gave you, maybe you didn't buy it, but it was a gift or something, or just the first one that kind of resonated with you.
Yeah, could have been Somewhere Out in Space, Gamma Ray.
Okay.
Could have been that one, but quite late because of course I got into metal in like 2003. So yeah, that was out for a few years by then.
Yeah.
Might have been the first one. Yeah, possibly.
Okay. Do you remember one of the first concerts you went to?
Yep, that one I remember. It was Halloween and Rage.
Oh wow.
Yep, in 2003.
Well,
so the first drummer I saw live actually was Mike Tirana.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yep. Yeah, I was very impressed.
Yeah, I didn't get to see Halloween or Gamma Ray until just a few years ago, really. I guess, I don't know what year it was, maybe 2008 or something. But that was the first time I got to see him.
Yeah.
But it was awesome because it was a three-peat. Well, I mean, there's three bands on the bill, and it was Iron Savior, Gamma Ray, Halloween. And, of course, Kai had played with all of them, right? So
yeah, exactly.
It was really cool. And then, Halloween comes out and opens with Halloween, starts with their, 13-minute epic song. And I was just like, oh, this is awesome.
When was that?
I think it was 2008, 2009, somewhere. It was at the Prague Power Festival here in America, Prague Power USA.
Right. Yeah, right.
So,
that's cool.
That was sort of the kickoff to the festival was those three bands. It's like, okay, I could pretty much go home now.
Yeah. It's a very much, it's a very German night, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. I mean, I'm a sucker for like German metal, man. I just, there's something about it. I love German metal. So
yeah, they have, for sure. They have quality for sure.
So when did it kind of click for you? It's like you were playing drums. You started at 13 years old. You were starting to get into music, being an influencer. When did it kind of click to where you're like, I think I want to kind of pursue this and try and do this full time?
I was about 15, I would say. It's like a bunch of things in a long period of time, I guess, or short, if you want to say. It's like, so first of all, I saw my first show. Mike Tirana, of course, blew my mind, and so impressive, like very, very like energetic, and like visually was something else. There was that around the same time I started playing in my first bands, like local stuff. We did covers of some sort of stone, like joint smoking kind of bands.
Sure.
Really slow stuff and stuff. But yeah, so I started getting into that, playing my first shows, and then after a couple, I was like, I'm really enjoying this, and I think that's what I want to do.
Now, I know you said your brother played instruments too. Were your parents supportive of your musical ventures, or they kind of like, go for it, see how far you can take this?
Yeah, they were, absolutely. Yeah, my brother went another way though. He went through proper musical training, like conservatory and stuff like. So he was a music teacher, actually, for like a proper music teacher for a while, and all that. So, but I went the other way. I went the dirty way, I would say, that like playing gigs, all over the place, and as much as I could. So yeah, that was basically that.
I want to dive into a little bit to your catalog here, because honestly, I knew of you obviously from Firewind. I knew about Lords of Black, Kamelot, but I went kind of digging to see what else you've done. There's quite a bit of stuff on here. I mean, by my count, you've probably been on over 20 albums,
Yeah.
Which is quite a few for, you're still relatively young compared to me. I'm 56. So, but you've been on a lot of albums. There was some stuff I went digging that I hadn't heard, and there was some stuff that was pretty heavy, like the Night Rage and the Suicide of Demons, and
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it
So how-
sounds about right, like 20, 25 maybe, something like
okay,
that.
yeah, that's impressive. So would you
Thanks.
say out of all those, is there sort of one that kind of stands out as maybe so far one of your favorites to record, or one of your that you're most proud of projects?
There's there's a couple I would say, but for different reasons. The latest one that comes to mind was probably the album I recorded with Dragonland, Power of the Night
Okay.
Star.
Yeah,
It was just, I don't know, it's just exactly my kind of music slash drumming, like sort of to the point, but also like very a little bit proggy in the structures and stuff like that. I had like I didn't have any restrictions, so I was alone in the studio with the producer, and I was free to do whatever I wanted. So that was a big relief also. So that was really cool. So and yeah, that's probably the latest one that stands out for me.
sure.
Also Immortals by Firewind. That was for me, probably one of the best album I've recorded. Like the quality of the music is just really good, and a great album, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, thanks. And and it was like after we had taken a break for a few years, so it was nice and fresh. It felt nice to come back and strong, actually, I think, with a really good album.
Yeah.
And then I would say like a couple of albums I recorded with my first band, Suicide of Demons. But then again, because I had like complete freedom, like nobody told me what I should do or should not do, and it was basically me writing the music with my brother. So so yeah, that was I enjoy I have good memories of that time for sure.
So when it comes to making music, there's the writing element, and you record, then you play out live. Is there a part of that that's your favorite, or is it just sort of they all have equal parts that you like about them versus, writing, recording, performing?
I love performing. Performing live is the best for me. Not so much the traveling, kind of sucks, but
Right.
yeah, then you end up like I am now. You don't sleep for a few weeks, and then
Yeah.
But
the non-glamorous part behind the scenes, right?
yeah, exactly, yeah. But no, performing definitely is a highlight for me. It's just a lot of fun to interact with your band, and then with the crowd also, meeting people and all that. It's like, for me, that's the best. With Firewind, I don't really write any music or drum parts, really. Like basically I'm they send me demos that are pretty much finished, and then I'll just record and put my little own personal touch to it, but it's not like majorly different, I would say, from the demos.
Okay.
So with other bands, like I said, Dragonland before, usually I have total freedom to do whatever I want there. So that's a lot of fun to be in the studio and just like come up with the weirdest idea I can come up with. Like, okay, let's not play the freaking the 4 on the floor beat that everybody plays, and let's try and come up with some interesting stuff that I really enjoy also. But yeah, for me, definitely the playing live is the highlight.
Yeah. When it comes to playing live, is there a gig that stands out, or a venue, or a festival? Just one of the favorite places you played?
I would say Japan. Japan is great. Usually, it's all like very professional there, and people are great fans, and and the team that's working with you is always great. People are so nice. Japan would be definitely. In Europe, I've always had good experiences, good shows in Switzerland.
Okay.
So that would be also. And for some reason, I really like playing in Australia also. I don't know why, but that's a pretty attractive country to me.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, usually, yeah. Like I like those far away mini tours we do, like
Yeah.
Asia, Australia, South America. These are a lot of fun usually.
So obviously you've played to some huge crowds, right? With Firewind and with Lords of Black and some of these other bands. So you get nervous at all still before a gig?
No, not really.
No.
No, I get excited. That said,
Yeah.
I've never actually played live with the Lords of Black.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
Yeah, no, I was supposed to, but then I had another tour lined up with Firewind, so I was not there. But yeah, no, I don't really get nervous. I get excited.
Yeah.
Sometimes like really excited when it's a new place or it's like a huge crowd or something. But no, not like nervous at all.
Yeah, I was wondering if you ever get sort of used to that, looking out and just seeing all the people, or is it every time is it sort of still like a rush, like, this is really cool.
Yeah, there is a rush for sure, but a good one.
So when it comes to either playing out or recording, is there particular go-to gear for you, whether it's drums or cymbals or just anything that's sort of your go-to to get like your sound or that just feels comfortable?
Yeah, so I've been endorsed by Turkish cymbals for probably 12 years now. So I haven't played like other cymbals since. So for me, that's like it feels like home to play it, right? It's like yeah. So that for sure. My own double pedal, I guess. Pearl Eliminator.
Okay, I was going to ask you what you had. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like from 2006. I've been using the same. Good one. It's very sturdy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been endorsed by Sawtooth Drums as well for like almost a year now, and yeah, it's I don't know if you've heard of them or anything. It's
I know we got the chance to play with you guys back in April when you played here in the States, and you had that kit. So I got to kind of see it up close, but I wasn't really familiar with them prior to that.
Yeah, basically it's a brand that does way more than just drums. They do like guitars, basses, they do percussions also now. So yeah, so ever since then I've been playing that also, and it's a great kit. I mean, you've seen how beautiful it is. I don't want to brag about it. It's like a beautiful kit. And yeah, it sounds great, and it's also like pretty light. So it's nice to have a easy light kit to transport for sure.
Yeah. Well, I noticed you set it up with just like the one rack tom in the middle between the two kicks.
Yeah.
And then you got 4 toms. Is that sort of something you've experimented with more of late, or have you always kind of played that way?
I've been playing like that for since a bit before the pandemic, I would say. For a couple of different reasons. Laziness is one of them. I didn't want to, have to carry a lot of stuff all the time, and the more stuff you have, the more potential issues, could break an extra skin, or on the other hand, it's also risky if I have only 1 tom, but then I'm kind of fucked if it breaks. But it's also for to be a little more comfortable, have more space around me, because I'm like I do like big moves when I play, so yeah, I like to have a lot of space around me just to be more comfortable. Yeah, and that's about it. And actually, when I rehearse, I don't play that. I have 2 toms in front of me and 2 on the sides.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, just to get used to different stuff. Also, you never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might have to play someone else's kit, and you don't have time to change anything. So at least I'm comfortable in different situations.
Sure. Well, yeah, I've seen a couple other drummers play that way over the years. I think Bobby Jarzenbeck, who's played with Riot and all kinds of bands, I think he's done like the single rack tom. And then way back in the 80s, there's a Japanese metal band called EZO. And I think their drummer had that, single tom in the middle too. So, but yeah, it's just kind of unique. You don't see that much, Yeah,
I guess, yeah. It's just very, very easy to set up, and, you're sure that nothing will be in the way. Your hi-hat is not gonna, because I like to play my hi-hat a little pushed back. I don't like to have it like close to me so much. I like to have it a little bit in front of me, So yeah, that would be where a second tom, smaller tom, would be. So yeah, I like to have the
Yeah, well,
space free for a hi-hat.
I think, like you said, once you realize, oh, I have to lug this stuff around everywhere and load it in the van and set it up and tear it down, it's like, yeah, maybe I'll go with
Yeah,
something a little easier,
yeah.
you know,
The less,
instead of
the
the
better.
4 rack toms and 2 floor toms and
Oh
12
yeah,
cymbals and
yeah. There's no
you
way I'm
know,
gonna do that again.
yeah,
No way. Also, the more you have, the well, it's personal, of course, but the more I feel tempted to touch everything. It's like, oh, I have all these toms, so why should I only play it like once? Let me play like longer fills
sure.
and stuff like that. So yeah, keep it. Yeah, I try to keep it basic, pretty
Yeah.
much to the point.
I do think it's interesting how in metal, because back in the day, like every metal drummer had the big, huge kit. You think back to your, you know, I don't know, Tommy Aldridge from Whitesnake and everybody with these big kits, and but I think you see a lot of metal drummers now who have slimmed down to sometimes a 4-piece kit, right?
Yeah,
It's or
exactly. Yeah.
5-piece with 2 floor toms, and they've really kind of consolidated and gotten smaller. But I mean, you can still get the same sound out, right? It's just less stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
If you look at even, I just remember now, Tommy Cleferos from Ozzy and Black Sabbath. He also has like one tom in the front, I think. So it's fairly small. I mean, he has more elements, of course. He has a gong probably and some octobands and stuff like that. But
yeah,
visually, it looks like it's just a normal small kit, right?
sure,
For such a big band. So yeah, I don't think it's a thing so much nowadays, I guess.
right.
I mean, there's still the visual aspect live, but you can have like something nice, but not too over the top, I guess.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's kind of funny, the way metal has changed over the years is, back in the 80s, it's like you had to have long hair to be a metal musician and all this. And it's like there's so many guys now, the frontmen like Ralph or whatever, that are bald, Rob Halford. I mean,
Yeah,
half the band is got shaved heads anymore in metal bands. But yeah, back then it's like you had to have long hair if you were going to be a metal guy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You have to
So
dress a
sometimes,
certain way also, and
yeah,
no, it's not so so restricted, I would say. When you see all those new modern bigger bands, it doesn't
yeah,
matter so much. I mean, they
sure.
still have their own style and all, but yeah, not as restricted as before, I feel.
Not getting the $30,000 custom made leather outfits like Dokken
Mm.
did for their under lock and key photo shoot or whatever it was.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Everybody buys from H&M now, the same
you're right.
same same black pair of jeans, and that has
Yeah.
a few holes, and then you add a few studs in it, and so yeah.
So, what's something you love most about the metal sort of hard rock community? What do you think kind of maybe sets it apart from other scenes or makes it unique?
Hmm. Uh, what makes it unique? I don't know. It's like it's tough questions. I don't know what makes it unique, really. I would say, man, that's a tough question. I don't know. I gotta think about it. Really, I
You can
mean,
come back
there's
to it if
like
you want.
like in every community, there's always a bit of a toxic element. Sometimes you get too I don't know, into it, I would say, and then you feel like it belongs to you or something. But how can I make this sound better? Let me think about it for a while. I'll,
No,
I'll
that's
give
fine.
you an answer
Yeah.
later.
Well, this one might be kind of a tough one too, but just in general, what has music kind of meant to you throughout your life? I mean, I know a lot of times it's the soundtrack of our life, right? We can hear a song and it takes us back to being 15 years old again with our friends or whatever on a Friday night, or that first girlfriend you had and the song takes you back to that or whatever. But hey, what has music meant to you?
It's my life, basically. I've been doing that for like more than 20 years now, and yeah, when I look back, it's like every moment of my life was related to music. Whether I was teenager, and like you said, it brings you back to a certain album you listen to and brings you back like good memories from a first girlfriend or whatever, or like a group of friends or things like that, a period of time that you look back fondly on. But yeah, basically so it's been my whole life for different reasons, but it's always there to me. So
Yeah. Are you still, I mean, obviously you're playing music now, which keeps you pretty busy, but are you still sort of as much a fan of music yourself, searching out bands, listening to new things?
yeah, I would say I mean, of course I have, I feel like once you pass your teenage years, it's kind of hard to get into newer bands and style of music. I guess I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, I notice like I always go back to the old stuff that I was listening to when I was like 16, 17 or something. So but yeah, there's definitely a few new bands that I'm into. I mean, or like not necessarily new, but yeah, I'm still a fan of some. I don't get to see many shows really because I kind of get tired of noise and and a lot of people, and I have very little energy to stand in a crowd for a couple of hours. I noticed that. Like it gave me a lot of respect for our fans that are standing there sometimes for hours and they wait in the line before and then watch the whole show standing up. I'm like, wow, you guys have a lot of energy.
Well, I think about like those diehards who go to like Wacken every year, and it's like whether it's super hot or it's just a mud bowl, because it rains the whole time, and they're out there standing all day in that field, watching bands. And,
I mean, festivals like Wacken. My theory is that that kind of festivals are so expensive that even if you're like tired at the end of your life, you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just enjoy and make the most of it.
Sure.
Like I spent I spend the whole fortune for this. I'm gonna watch as many bands as I can.
Yeah, get your money's worth, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, have you ever played on one of those like rock cruises that have become more popular in the last few years?
Yeah, few. We played 70,000 Tons of Metal, 2016, I think. A couple of weeks later, we played the Monsters of Rock cruise. Yeah, it's more like, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like it's more like 80s oriented, I would say.
Yep. I'm aware of both those fests.
Yeah. So we played that one a couple of times. We also played the Wacken cruise back in 2013. Yeah, I enjoyed them. It's great.
Yeah,
good experience.
I've never been on one of those, but I think they sound appealing versus standing in the mud and the rain versus being on a boat where you can run back to your cabin if you need to,
lay down in a jacuzzi. Yeah,
there's food, there's whatever, there's showers.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can just kind of hang out and see tons of bands. So
I like the concept. I think it was very smart to make that happen for sure.
Yeah, they seem to have really caught on because there's so many of them that happen now. I mean, 70,000 Tons is maybe one of the first ones I heard of, kind of when they kicked that fest off. But like I said, there's all these other ones happening now. Ones that bands themselves are just putting on and inviting some other bands to come with them. And
Kiss, Megadeth,
Sabaton
also I think have their own cruise. So it's a very smart concept. I really enjoyed playing those. That's cool.
Yeah,
and you get to meet a lot of people, so which is really cool. Make new friends and all that.
And you can get ice cream at any time of night, or whatever you want.
That's a big problem for me. I have a major sweet tooth, so try to stay away from that.
So what are maybe some challenges you've faced as a musician, either personal or professional, or just anything that's sort of been tricky to navigate in the musical spectrum these days?
The traveling is definitely one of them. You get tired of it very easily, and I'm starting to hate airports like really badly. It's really stressful for me to travel on a plane and get to an airport. So I always say, if I have a chance to go somewhere and take a bus or a train for 7 hours versus a couple of hours flight, I'll just take the train.
Really? Okay.
Way less restrictions, way less stressful, and all that. So So yeah, definitely the traveling part is a big one. Uh, Other than that, yeah, you gotta, I don't know, the music business as we know it is has changed a lot, as you know it. It's very it's very online and social media oriented now, which is it's too bad, I think, because I'm not a huge fan of all that, social media. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. So, but you have to, you know, work with it. You have no
Yeah,
choice
it's kind of a
unless you're
double-edged
like,
sword, right?
yeah, unless you're like a super famous band and you have someone that takes care of it and you don't have to look at it. Then I guess it's okay. But yeah, even though you still have to, like, record videos, content, and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So I feel like with that we lost a lot of, you know the essence, the spontaneous spontaneity, you say, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, of art, basically. So yeah, you always have to, provide something new, always, always be there, always be present online, and otherwise you pretty much don't exist, really, which
Yeah.
is sad, I think. So yeah, bands usually they can't afford to stay away for too long and work on their art, uh, work on their shit. And yeah, that's for me like one of the, not necessarily the most difficult, but I think it's too bad that it's come to that, really, that we've come to that. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gonna last, really. It might be a thing, and in 10 years something will be something completely different, or who knows. But yeah, yeah, for me that's one of the hardest part of
Yeah.
today,
Do you
the
find a
music.
frustration? I mean, I'm sure every band deals with this, but the frustration of, the second your album comes out, it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be
Yeah,
somebody's going to put it out there for free, and you put all this work and all this effort into it, and it's just out there.
yeah, I guess, yeah, that's another part of it. Yeah, yeah, also that's unfortunately that's the way it is now, and it's been like that for, a good time now, like
Yeah.
more than 10 years, definitely. So
Well, I think, in some ways, I think some of I don't know if mystique is the right word, but, I remember when I was a teenager and you're sitting in school and you know that today is the day the new Iron Maiden album comes out. You can't wait till
yeah,
school's over so you can run to the record store,
yeah,
buy the album, go home, put it on, and then sit there and just absorb it, look at the cover and study it and read the liner notes. And I think
yeah,
a lot of
exactly, yeah,
that is gone nowadays, because it's like, well, it just drops into my Amazon account automatically at midnight when it's released or whatever. There's none of this. I have to go out and get it, right? It comes to me now, and it's sort of the thrill of the hunt is gone, I guess. I still like to go out to record stores and look for that one Holy Grail album I've been trying to find, or
yeah.
it's
I
still fun
totally
to
agree
go
with
to
that.
album stores, but
Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. It's yeah, it sucks. I remember also when I was a teenager, when I knew when an album would come out, or when a band would come to my city. I actually made the research, like,
Mhm.
when are they coming, like, are they coming even. So yeah, you had a lot of expectations that you don't have now. Like, it's funny, but it's like I go back to that, the online thing. Now everything is like at reach. It's very easy to find out, like, any sort of information. But it's like, you would play in a city, like, say you play in New York City, and then you post like whatever, like, yeah, whatever, on Facebook or Instagram, and then you would have that one comment that say, hey, when are you guys coming to New York? Like, really, dude, we're just there like yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
how can you miss that? Like, how are you even a fan or something? So, but yeah, nowadays it's like too easy to get information and stuff. So you kind of lose the mystique, like you said. Yeah,
I do find it kind of interesting that in this day and age, when there's so much information and every band's got a Facebook page and a web page and an Instagram, if you're into the band, you should it's kind of easy to figure out what's going on. But I'll talk to people and I'll say something about, I don't know, pick a band, the new Saxon record, and they'll be like, "Oh, Saxon's still around." I'm like, "Yes, where have you been? They never quit."
yeah,
So I think with all the information that's out there, it shouldn't be that hard to realize that bands are still out there making music and playing. But a lot of people are, yeah, I guess not maybe not as diligent searching it out like I am, because I'm still very much into it, and it's my hobby, it's my pastime, it's what I've always loved. I'd look into it to see, who's coming through town, who's going to be in Chicago. And if we're on vacation, first thing I do when I get to a town is I get on the internet and see if there's a record store in town, or 2 or 3 or whatever, and then I'll look at venues to see, man, maybe while we're here, somebody's playing, and
absolutely.
that's kind of what I do, but not sure everybody else does that.
I'm really glad there's still people like you. Fortunately, that's a good thing. But it's like nowadays it's a minority, I guess.
Yeah,
like it's too easy to get anything nowadays. So you lose that interest.
Well, I think
you
too,
don't have to fight for
with COVID, it was like easier just to sit home and watch a concert on YouTube or watch a live stream and not have to go to a venue and, like you say, stand in line and stand for 3 hours in a sweaty club or whatever. It's like I could just sit home and eat popcorn and whatever, watch
the show. Yeah. I never did that actually. I know some of my favorite bands did shows like that, like online streams and stuff. I didn't bother. For me, it's not the same thing. It's not the real deal. You don't have the whole experience.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I will tell you when I got to see you guys, because you guys were a bucket list band for me, because I had tickets during COVID. There was supposed to be the tour with Primal Fear, Firewind, and Symphony X.
Yep,
and I had tickets to that, and of course it got canceled because of COVID. And I've still not seen Primal Fear, but I've seen Symphony X a couple of times. But when I finally got to see you guys, like I say, there's nothing. I don't care how many streams you watch or YouTube concerts. There's nothing that still, comes close to that live. When you guys hit the stage and kicked in, I was like, yes.
I agree. Thanks though. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I mean, like to say the power coming from the stage, the power of the guitars, the power of the drums. I mean, it's just you can't get that feel sitting in your house. Even if you crank your stereo up to 11, it's not the same.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then you have the interaction with the crowd also. Like I said, it's like that moment belongs to you only. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's nothing like a real live show for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I feel like there's other countries that maybe get that a little bit more sometimes than the U.S. because I'll see these, like Maiden going to play Brazil or somewhere, and the fans are like insane for them, or like Greece. I know Greece is like huge into metal in certain places, really supportive of it, and people turn out in droves and wait, in hours in line. But I don't feel like that happens as much here, unfortunately, So
yeah, I guess you guys have maybe less of the European bands also. Maybe you're more into that also, so that makes it a little harder for you to get what you want to see. Yeah, it's kind of complicated with the visa thing and quite expensive also.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the bands I like that are American bands, they kind of have that European sound or whatever. They're in the power metal genre, or like a Jagpanzer or Riot. It's hard to see them in the States because they don't really play a ton in the States.
They don't? Okay.
And if they do, it's like smaller venues. It's a club on a Tuesday night or something. So, but then they can go play Vakken to 80,000 people. But it's like we can't get 100 people to show up in the States to support them, which is frustrating,
But I guess power metal is not so big in the States versus Europe or South America or Japan, I guess. Yeah, unfortunately.
So when it comes to like your personal life and the music career, is there struggles with balancing that, or do you just say, well, I'm going on tour, this is what I got to do for the next few weeks, and you find it tough to balance?
Yeah, no, it's my job, so there's not usually a problem with that. It's never. I mean, it's difficult not to. As I grow older, it's getting a little more difficult to leave your family and and leave home and your comfort also, which I didn't get before when I was younger. I didn't care being in a van for 3 weeks and in a play dirty places and stuff like that had no showers, and that was not such a problem before. Now it's like, really?
Right.
But yeah, that's like I said, it's part of my life now. So yeah, it is what it is. I don't complain about it. There's some stuff I'm missing, of course, but I know I'll have them back, after a month or something. So
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know. Are you married or kids or anything?
No. I have 2 cats.
2 cats. There you go. I know Gus has a cat too because I see it in a lot of his stuff.
I don't know how many he has now. It's like probably has 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're a cat band for sure.
Is there anyone, past or present, this is your wish list thing, if there was an artist you could collaborate with, anyone, any era, any time, there's someone you're like, oh yeah, it'd be really cool to do a project with this person?
Yeah. There's yeah, I'm a big fan of Avenged Sevenfold.
Okay.
I think their music is, and I think it's a band that ages really well. Their albums are like more interesting as we go, and they're already nice to begin with. But yeah, I think that band definitely, past and present, I would have loved to play with them for sure. Yeah, something funny would be like play with one of those hair metal bands, like Motley Crue or something from the 80s when they were like at the peak or something. Just to know what it was all about, that lifestyle. Should be funny. Megadeth for sure. Still one of my favorite bands to this day. So I would love to play with them one day for sure.
Awesome. Have you ever got to share the stage with them or play like a fest with them or anything?
Yeah. Bunch of times. We played festivals in Spain, Germany. With them. I got to see them up close. I play with Marty Friedman also. So yeah. No, yeah, I had a chance to see them a few times, but actually playing with them would be something different.
You could sit in on a song or something.
Yeah, that would be cool for sure.
Now, obviously, with being in a band that's pretty popular yourself and playing a lot of these festivals, have you had a chance to meet a lot of your, I hate to say the word idols, but a lot of the people that influenced you? Have you got to meet Mike Tirana?
Yeah, I actually met him when I was like, I don't know, like 16 or something. I talked to him for a couple of minutes. My English wasn't that good back then, but yeah, I was. He was nice. I got to share the stage with him a few times again, but we didn't really get to talk or anything. I did meet some of my idols for sure. Usually, I don't want to get in the way or bother them, or so I'll try to keep a distance. And then some of them are like super cool, and they come and they would come in and compliment you, out of nowhere. So which is really cool. But yeah, it happens. But I usually try not to be in the way and don't want to bother them because they probably get that all the time. So
well, outside of music, do you have any other like hobbies or interests or passions?
Sports, I would say. Workout. Traveling, yeah, I like traveling, although I already do it a lot with the music. Like discovering new places. Usually what I would do is after a tour or something, I would stay somewhere for a few extra days. Like I just did now. Actually, I spent a few days in Istanbul in Turkey. Never seen the city before, so I was like, that's a great opportunity. So I just stayed there and visited. Discovered. I did that in Japan also back in May after we played, and that was great experience for sure. Yeah, like how do you call that? Trekking.
Oh yeah,
mountains and stuff like that.
Sure.
Yep, that kind of stuff. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I know you talked about some of your favorite places to play, like Japan and Australia, but just in terms of traveling. Are there sort of some bucket list places you haven't been yet you want to go to?
Sorry. Yeah, I love to play in South Africa because I've seen bands play there over the years. Yeah, it's not very common, I would say, but I'd love to go there. Usually, I haven't really been to Africa. I mean, I've been to North Africa, but I like to go like down, way down in the continent. That would be great. I'd like to do a few other countries we haven't done in South America. Peru, for example. I'd like to see Peru. I'll probably stay there also if I had a chance. Yeah, I really like Asian countries. So yeah, I'll do like Thailand or Vietnam, Philippines, countries like
Sure.
that. Laos, yeah, yeah. Those countries I would love to go to, whether it's to play or just on my own.
So
Yeah.
I'm just going to circle back a little bit to Firewind. So how did that come about? So how did you get approached about joining Firewind?
So I was playing in this band Night Rage, in which Gus played before he recorded the first two albums. So they were like good friends and all that. So we were supposed to do a tour in America with Firewind. So Night Rage, it was Night Rage, a band called White Wizard, Arsis, and Firewind. And the drummer then Michael Airy from Gamma Ray quit quit the band and to go and play with Gamma Ray actually.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so they just, since he knew me, Gus just contacted me and he said like, hey, would you wanna join for this tour in America, and actually we have this tour in Europe right before it, so would you be up for that, since you're already gonna be there anyway? So
Mhm.
so I was like, yeah. So I was actually a fan of Firewind before, so I was very happy about that, and of course I said yes, and yeah, and that was it. That's how we got to know each other. I mean, we had met before at festivals and stuff like that, but not like we didn't talk that much or anything.
Mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, I did those two tours, Europe and America, and then I was asked to stay in the band, record the next album, Few Against Many, and yeah, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah. Now with you guys, obviously, I assume you all live in different places, right? So I know you said you kind of get tired of flying, but I assume if you guys are going to be doing a gig, do you all sort of fly and meet in a central location to take off on the tour, or kind of all responsible for getting to wherever you're going, but on your own, or how does that work?
We usually, yeah, meet up where we have to play, whether it's a festival or a tour. Wherever the tour starts, we try to get there a day before. Touch base and get to talk about details and stuff like that.
Mhm.
How the show is gonna happen, like yeah, basically all the details. We should do this and that. Yeah, we try to do that. Sometimes for different circumstances, we have to get there on the day of the show, which is a bit stressful. So because you
Yeah.
never know, flights get delayed or canceled. Yeah, no, basically that we all rehearse on our own. We meet up and just play. That's it. But we've been together for so long that yeah, we know each other, and there's no
Right.
there's no big stress about that, really.
And when it comes to the booking, like obviously, let's say you guys got a gig tomorrow in Germany or whatever. So do you have anybody sort of behind the scenes that helps the band with the booking, or is it like you've got to book your own flight and figure it out yourself and get there and
Yeah, we have a booking agent. Yeah, that works
Okay.
for us. We have 3 booking agents actually. One for Europe, one for North America. Then yeah, depending on where it is, if it's South America or Australia or Asia, we could have someone else also that's not the same person. But yeah, we have people take care of that for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you probably did, but I wasn't sure because I mean, these are the parts of the business that like I don't know about, that I just find interesting to see how some of that stuff works behind the scenes.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. Yes, sometimes, yeah, like for example, there's been a few occasions where I wanted to stay longer after a tour or a show,
Mhm.
and I said, I'll just book my flight myself and make my own arrangements, book a hotel for after and stuff like that. So yeah, it depends. But usually we have someone to take care of that, then unless there's something different you want to do.
Yeah.
We'll see about
Yeah, I was
that.
going to ask you, is there any projects currently in the works with any bands or anything you're recording right now, or just kind of a in between
Yeah,
period?
I think Gus is writing music right now for Firewind. So yeah, we should have some stuff coming out soon, and then yeah, and then after that, of course, like we'll do another run of the world.
Yeah, yeah,
Hopefully the States and Chicago.
that would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now when it
That's
comes
a nice
to
place, actually.
yeah,
So sorry. No, I just remember the show in where we met in Peoria, I think it was called.
yeah, it was Peoria. Yep.
Cool place. Very cool place.
Yeah, this is a cool venue. I don't know if you know the history of that place, if anybody told you, but like when I was growing up, it was a really popular concert venue. Then it became more of like a dance club, and all through the 80s it was like, everybody went to hang out and dance and all that. And then it kind of closed and was nothing for years. It's been a few different things, but somebody bought it and reopened it, and they're trying to return it to like kind of what it used to be with a live concert venue, which is cool. But yeah,
nice,
it's kind of a neat place because it's got those balconies and it's all wood and neat looking place.
Yeah, there's a vibe about that place. I remember for sure.
Yeah.
The backstage
Well,
area was
the cool thing is the very stage that you guys played on, Van Halen played that stage in like 1978, 79, something like that.
I heard. I think someone told me about that. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it's got some history. I mean, there's a lot of kind of classic bands that played there and stuff. That was sort of the venue back in the day,
Yeah. No, that's super cool. Yeah.
So yeah, it's neat to see it kind of have a resurgence.
Yep, that's good. It's good. At least the music scene is not dying. There's still people trying to make it happen.
Well, Joe, I really don't have any more questions for you, but thanks so much for taking the time. I know, like say, you're a little bit jet lagged from touring and feeling a little under the weather, but thanks for making time for this. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Wade. That's very cool.
Yeah, and let's keep in touch. If you want to get back on here sometime, if there's something new going on you want to talk about, just let me know.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we'll keep in touch, man.
All right, well, if you want to hang for just a second, I'm going to say goodbye to the crowd watching, and thank you for watching Metal Roots. This has been Wade and Joe Nunez from Firewind, so thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Metal Roots.